Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. Welcome back to the Terror in the Isles Challenge. Now, this is a segment I'm doing with my good friend Joe the Horror Man, where we're going to examine the films from Terror in the Isles. Not only the theatrical cut, but the television cut as well. Now, this review is going to be a little bit different, but it's going to follow in succession with the other Terror in the Isles reviews. This is going to be a documentary that is shown in the actual Terror in the Isles film, and that is The Men Who Made the Movies. Alfred Hitchcock, the Master of Suspense. Now, this aired January of 1987 on Australian Channel 9. And this actually has all the commercials, and Joe actually made me this copy of the movie itself. It runs about an hour, and it is pretty freaking amazing. You not only get to see the parts that were in Terror in the Isles, but you get to see the rest of the documentary, and you get a little bit of a glimpse into why Hitchcock was considered a genius, in my opinion. Now, the movies that are covered here are Psycho, North by Northwest, Saboteur, Shadow of a Doubt, The Birds, Torn Curtain, Notorious, and Frenzy. All classic films by Hitchcock, and he talks a little bit about them, gives a little bit of insight into the areas of suspense that he created and his theory behind the actual suspense itself. Now, this is kind of unrelated, but it's also pretty cool. You get to see the commercials from 1987 on Australian television, which I thought was just really, really neat. Not being from Australia, of course, you get to see a little bit, maybe a little insight into their lives, their everyday lives, by the commercials that they watch on television. And as I said before, when you're watching this, when Alfred Hitchcock is explaining his reasoning and his theories behind suspense, you really do get an insight into his mindset of creating film and his genius. It's really a shame that this actually hasn't been made available to the masses, because it's probably one of the better documentaries that I've seen. Now, of course, the parts that were in Terror in the Isles is when he's talking about how to create suspense. One of the references he uses is if there's a setting where two people are talking about baseball and they put a bomb in the place and they're talking about baseball for 5 minutes, you get maybe, 30 seconds or a minute of shock when the bomb goes off. But if you actually tell the audience that there's a bomb in there and then they talk for 5 minutes, the audience is going crazy because they're like, get out of there, there's a bomb there. But you're giving them information ahead of time, which actually creates the suspense. And you're making the audience kind of lose their stuff a little bit. So, I mean, he was just a genius. And that's just one example of the type of strategies that he describes in gaining suspense. I don't have a relatable recommendation for this because this is technically part of the challenge, but since it's a piece of a documentary, it was never intended to be part of this challenge. It was actually something that Joe went out and was able to seek out on his own. He made me a copy, he made himself a copy, and we actually watched this together. And we were both just floored by how amazing Alfred Hitchcock was at what he did. A big thank you to Joe, the Horror Man. Like I said, I'm not going to do a recommendation for this. I don't think he is either. He might, I don't know. We kind of didn't talk about that, which is kind of weird, but a big thank you to Joe for making this for me. This is definitely something I will be revisiting quite a bit. So, thank you, Joe. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.